In today's video, we're going to take a look at the following keywords for 100 level statistics. The first thing is defining what a census is. So a census is where we conduct a survey when we collect data from all of the individuals within a population. So this here is going to be our population. And in a census, we would go ahead and we would collect data from all of the individuals within that population. One downside is that this can be time consuming and it can be quite expensive as well because you have to go to every single individual. What we then have is a sample. So if we have a population and we want to collect data, but we can't go ahead and collect data from every single individual, what we can do is we can get a sample. And in one of the next videos, I'm going to show the different methods of obtaining a sample so that we actually get representative data in our sample for our population. So this here is our sample either way, right? So a sample is within the overall population. Now, when we go ahead and we collect data for our population or our sample, we then want to make numerical summaries. For example, find the average, find the mode, right? The most common value, etc. So these are numerical summaries, and parameters, so parameters are numerical summaries for populations. So if we find the average household income for all of the individuals that live in Latvia, for example, that's going to be a parameter. If we go ahead and we draw numerical summaries for a sample, let's say maybe the average household income for city A, which is within Latvia, that is going to be a statistic. All right, so parameters, the way I remember it is parameters starts with a P, and it is for populations, which also starts for a P. Statistics starts with an S, and that is regarding the numerical summaries from samples, which starts with S. So P, and S goes with S. So now let's take a look at the two different statistical branches that we can have. So the first is descriptive. So descriptive statistics is simply just about collecting data for a sample group, organizing it and displaying it for that sample. On the other hand, inferential statistics is where we take the findings from our sample. So we get a sample and we get the summaries, right, the statistics from that sample, and then we look to draw conclusions for the bigger population. So we take our findings from our small sample and then we draw conclusions about the overall population using data from that sample. So let's say, for example, our sample was the average household income, or the average household income for people living in city A. If we were to do inferential statistics, we'd then draw a conclusion that, okay, let's say actually, firstly, that the average household income in city A was $100,000 per year. Then if we use inferential statistics, we could draw the conclusion that the average household income for all individuals in Latvia is $100,000 per year. So that would be an example of inferential statistics. So that's it for this video. If I may have gotten anything incorrect, put it down in the comments. Let's start a little bit of a discussion. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.